Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? Hashtag Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am, of course, Osayome Sale. And today, Marianne Duke Okon and I are in studio.
Again.
Hello.
And there is no road walking.
There's no road again. I was trying to explain that when Marianne was giving that all that conversation around road dogging, I had not watched the video. It was the next day I watched it. I said, now I understand why why there was passion. But how have you been?
Great. I can't complain.
Yeah, it is well.
Yeah.
It is well. Sanzi has joined us via Zoom. Hi, Sanzi. How are you? Bele? I just read your message like literally 5 minutes ago.
Nigeria happened to you, love.
Nigeria happened to me, and it's just sad because I had mapped out my day. I had a plan, but somehow Nigeria affected the car, and then the car affected me. My dearest Odumeje.
Yo, Dumeje, it is well. It is well.
Hi, Marianne.
Hi, Sanzi.
I was laughing.
Oh my God. I can't even believe you guys. Leave me alone.
And she was speaking it with Queen's English.
It was so funny.
All right, so if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's at Official Upgrade TV. Please go there now and subscribe. So tonight, in partnership with Enough is Enough, we will have a quick chat with Vayala Kwanga. He's the head of Open Government and Institutional Partnership at Budget Nigeria. He'll be discussing the fiscal sustainability of the, of course, Nigerian state, and he's joined us via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope I did not murder your
Vayala.
name. Vayala Kwaga. How are you? Good evening.
Thank you so much. Good evening to you in the studio, and I'm used to people murdering my name, so it's fine.
Oh, that's not nice. That's not nice. So how do I pronounce your name, please?
Sounds like
Vahyala.
Vayala. Okay.
Bagala.
Vayala. Right? Oh, sugar, are we having challenges with your network? Are you with us, Vayala?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. I couldn't hear you. Okay, so quickly, let's run through what we have from Enough is Enough tonight. I saw a write-up around the state of states, what is happening within the healthcare sector, what is happening amongst, what's it called, our revenue growth and fiscal performance, expenditure patterns and our debt challenges within the country, human capital investment, healthcare. We talked about also prioritizing financial responsibility and transparency. Can you quickly run us through this conversation, because we have like literally 5 minutes?
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I think the conversations around states optimizing their revenue, optimizing their debt management, optimizing the way they spend money is critical for Nigeria. A lot of the conversations we have as Nigerians tend to be focused on the federal government, oftentimes ignoring the states to some extent. Now, the State of States report is Budget's flagship publication that evaluates the fiscal viability, the fiscal performance of the Nigerian subnationals. And we've had this report for, I think, about 9 to 10 years now. And one of the key things that we've been able to bring to a national conversation is the viability of states as regards how much money they are able to earn, how well they're able to spend the money that they earn, and how well they're able to manage their debts, among other things. And this year, we have seen some considerable growth in terms of total revenue. However, we've not seen a commensurate growth of internally generated revenue across board. Now, there's a difference between total revenue and internally generated revenue. Total revenue includes what states get in terms of aids and grants, and monies they get from the federation account.
Yeah.
While IGR is the money that they are able to
generate within the state.
Now,
Go ahead,
yes,
please.
That's correct. And what we've been able to discover for the 2023 fiscal year, as the report was launched in 2024, is that 32 Nigerian states out of 36 relied on federal allocations for at least 55% of their total revenue. Now, that means that nearly all the states in Nigeria needed the federal government to support at least half of their spending. Now, this really speaks to the fiscal viability of states. If the states did not have federal allocations, would they be able to pay salaries? Would they be able to pay for capital expenditure? Would they be able to exist as a viable, entity? The answer, is probably best left for Nigerians who are watching. Again, looking at debt, simply because of the devaluation of the naira from around 800 naira to around 1,000, I think 1,004, total state debt increased by 2.7 trillion naira. Now, of course, like I started off by saying, there has been a growth in total revenue for states, but this has largely been due to monies from the federation accounts. So this report is really showing Nigerians that we need to pay serious attention to what state governors are doing. How well has your state optimized its tax collection? How well is your state providing energy? One of the conversations that we have often in Nigeria is electricity generation. But the past administration and the current administration have actually passed legislation to allow states to generate, to transmit, and to distribute electricity. And it's a shame that we are still struggling with supplying electricity, even at a time when states are allowed to do so legally. So there are several things that citizens need to ask their state governors, ranging from how well they're able to provide infrastructure that supports business growth and the sustenance of business, and how well they're able to optimize the growth of their internally generated revenue, taxes, which are one of them.
So sad.
Yeah, I want to ask, because I'm one of those people who keep advocating that they should stop the creation of more states. And there are people who are continuously asking for states to be created. As we speak right now, like you just said, states are very happy to go cap in hand to the federal government every month and to get monies. And that means that they don't want to look within themselves to see how viable they can be on their own. But how soon can we start asking that we return to looking within ourselves to see how we can develop? I mean, because like I always say, we sit on a gold mine. All the states across the Federation have something, some mineral resources that we can, explore. Why do you think that as citizens we're always, pointing fingers at the federal government and forgetting that we have state governors who run these regions?
I mean, you've asked several questions in one. I wish we had more time for me to really speak quite elaborately on the issues you've raised. But one reason is that the nature of our politics, the nature of the system that we borrowed from the Americans, it tends to arrogate power to the center. And essentially what we even run in Nigeria is more of a unitary system and less of a federal system. If you look at the structure of our constitution, there are several components that are left for the federal government, as opposed to them being given to the states. Electricity, was one of them before. It makes no sense why a nation as large as Nigeria, with as many states as we have, still have the federal government, controlling electricity, its transmission, generation, and distribution. So Nigerians need to gradually look to disempowering the federal government and moving a lot of the items from the exclusive list to at least to the concurrent list, or even to the residual list, which are things that local governments should handle. In other countries, security, infrastructure, public works are handled by local governments.
Absolutely.
And it's very timely that, the courts in their recent judgments, gave this order or directed monies to be given directly to the local governments. I think it's an experiment that we need to see through, and we need to empower and strengthen local governments and really disempower or weaken the center and give states more responsibilities and more powers.
So I think Viola, we will need to bring you back to have this conversation, because there's so much to unpack,
on the state of states,
on the state of states. And again, to see that recent times, we've been seeing a lot of EFCC moves on state governments, right? So maybe we would see some level of accountability or transparency when it comes to how they even the allocation that they even get from the government, how they are, how they're spending those funds, and how they are allocating different funds across different sectors within their state, and of course even their internally generated revenue as well. How are they expending those ones as well? So I would really indulge that if you can, give us another date so we have a full 55 minutes conversation on this. I would personally want to have that conversation with you because there's so much to unpack on this topic. But you have a final thought to just quickly share, then we can run off.
Yes, thank you so much. I'll be delighted to appear again on the program. My final thoughts is the primary institution that can and should and is empowered to hold state governors to account, unfortunately, is one that has been neglected for many reasons. One of which is at the state level, this institution is not financially independent. And the institution I'm referring to is one, that has been thought of by the men of old. The founding fathers of the United States decided that it would be wrong to strengthen an executive with the powers of the king. So they brought about the idea of separation of powers. And they designed an assembly to stand as a check against arbitrary use of that power. So the state houses of assembly are meant to be the ones
to checkmate
the executives to account. Precisely. Unfortunately, because of the design of our governance system, many state houses of assembly are in the pockets of the governors. I mean, it's down as bad as, the monies used to provide the administration and management has to be approved, has to be proposed first, and they're not first line charges, which means they would not come out, the monies will not come out automatically. So our conversation really should go towards empowering and providing autonomy and independence to state houses of assembly and, releasing them from that vice grip of state governors.
All right. Thank you so much. I would ask the producers to just reach out to you so we can secure a better timing for this conversation. But thank you so much for your time. All right, so that was in partnership with Enough is Enough. I mean, we have amazing guests that they bring on the show for us, to always dissect issues. And the goal is to ensure that citizens are engaged. So you know what is happening, and you start to demand for what is rightfully yours. So tonight on the show, we'll be addressing, of course, the continued high cost of governance in Nigeria. I mean, it's just in line with, partially what we've touched on with Enough is Enough. And here's what we found as today's post. It says, a society can only progress when it builds a competent, co-effective system that maximizes resources for the benefit of all citizens. I mean, this is such an apt conversation. I don't know how we will do it in Nigeria, but we can never get tired of talking about the issues that matter to us as a people. If we stop doing that, then we are not ready to grow or change anything as within the company, the country rather. So we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll just quickly breeze through what we found in today's news. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, National Metal Day is celebrated, Metal Day, I say metal, is celebrated annually on the 11th of November to honor heavy metal genre. Now, established in 2011 by VHI Classic. The day was inspired by the film This is Spinal Tap, particularly the memorable line about amplifiers that go up to 11. Now, the first celebration included an 11-day lead-up featuring various metal concerts, documentaries, and special culminating in the premiere of Metal Evolution on, of course, November 11, 2011. The day serves to unite fans of heavy metal across generations, celebrating not only classic bands like Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden, but also modern groups that have continued to push the genre boundaries. Now, it emphasizes the genre's raw energy and complex musicianship and emotional depth. Okay, that's for the people that love it. Moving on. Sansi, what did you find for us in the news?
First off, I do not enjoy metal music. It's a whole lot of noise. As far as I'm concerned, it's noise
Heavy metal is
pollution. But
crazy
It's headache,
music. It's
man.
crazy music.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
yeah. So what I found in the news is like this very sad story of a woman who bragged about her marriage on social media in May 2023. And a year later, or a year and a few months later, it is a sad story. And she comes out saying, listen, I made a mistake. Do not go out sharing your news or your testimonies on social media, because it's like right after sharing her story of, okay, I'll just read out her news. She said, here is a story. God really showed up this year. I got awarded for having the highest overall performance in the honors in the class from the Department of Industrial Psychology. To think I nearly gave up. And a year later, here is what she said. I couldn't even graduate because I wasn't done with my research. I'm still not done because I can't write or type on my laptop anymore. From being completely dependent to having to be 100% dependent on others. And that is because on her way home after her final exams, she got involved in an unexplainable car accident that left her paralyzed from neck down. I think that's really sad. I felt really bad for her.
Sad.
But then again, I think people should just not be too quick to share news on. So I mean, it's okay to be excited, but learn to just keep things within yourself, because evil eyes are real, and it may not work for international society, but Africans, I don't know why this is prevalent in Africa, but evil eyes
Village
are real.
people.
I was about
You've
to
been
say that
warned.
these things only happen in Nigeria.
I'm telling you, you know
Because
what?
I
I think we
don't
should
re-
make it a topic to have a
Yeah.
conversation.
Okay, I think we're too mysterious for our own good.
South Africa.
Okay, let's take
She's
take
from
your.
South Africa. Like, I think
Oh, she's South
both
African,
South
right?
African and both.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe it's an
maybe it's an
African thing.
African problem.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take your news.
Well, here's what I found in the news, from one sad news to a more terrible news. The Vanguard newspaper here says, hunger, children scavenge for leftovers at parties and prayer houses. I'll just give you a little background. Economic woes continue to befall Nigerians due to the rising cost of living, job loss, unemployment, and a low patronage in businesses. These are all taking a toll on many. The Vanguard newspaper discovered that adults are not only the recipients of these woes, as they've also extended to children. Findings reveal that due to hunger and the quest for survival, many parents have let out their children to scavenge for leftover foods at parties. Apart from that, children have left roadside and street begging. They visit prayer houses to beg, knowing fully well that their needs cannot be neglected in such places. A little girl said that she and her brothers that their dad no longer lives with them and their mom is sick. She's the only caregiver. And there's no food in the house, so they have to go and beg for food at parties or any
Well, you know,
event.
this thing, Marianne, I want to quickly say that for people that organize all these big parties, I actually don't enjoy what I see when I see that waste. Even without anything, if there's a way that, because I've seen parties, like literally the leftovers, it is amazingly crazy.
It's not just them, even the fast food places.
Fast food everywhere.
Yeah.
So let us devise a means. I don't know if people can start it up. I know they do it in other places
it
where,
abroad.
yes, you go and get like a collection point where you can give people, because this food, it's not like it's bad food, it's good food.
Yeah.
But it just goes to waste, you know? So it's
For me, it's just really sad that children have to bear the brunt of the
Absolutely.
terrible
It's very
economic
sad.
policies
Very sad.
that administrations come and gone
Very sad.
and the present ones have put in place. Is really
Absolutely.
sad.
So, Bayo Onanuga has said that arrogance cost Atiku the 2023 elections. And he said this because, of course, he said the former vice president is unqualified for nations to sit, for nations' top seat, and lost the elections due to his arrogance, insensitivity, and disregard for the country's reality. It faulted Atiku's ideas, especially his call for an initial consultation period before subsidy removal, other hardline economic reforms, saying it showed a troubling lack of awareness around regarding the state of the economy. The special advisor to the president, of course, on information and strategy by Onanduga, stated this in a statement he signed, of course, on Sunday. He says, time for Atiku Abubakar to end his grand illusions and fantasy. And he was responding to Atiku's earlier thoughts on the fact that Tinubu's reforms are as trial and error economic policies, blaming the president for inflicting excruciating pain on Nigerians. Bayo Onanuga, well done, sir. I don't even know what to say.
I want to respond to Bayo Onanuga. Shut it. Yeah, just shut it, sir.